Welcome to Center for Spiritual Living, Port Angeles, on our second Thursday in the greenhouse. Very excited to be back in this beautiful space. So if you're seeing this online, we're thrilled you're joining us. I invite you to listen with earbuds. If you're watching this on your computer, the sound might be just a little bit better. You can find out all about us at our webpage, www.cslpa.org. And we've got all of our talks up until now that are up on the webpage. We've got all the information about all the activities that are coming up and all the neat things that are happening. Plus a lot of pretty pictures of our property. So we invite you to check that out. If you're in the area, we'd love to meet you in person. Add us to your calendar. Well, hello, I read a spider on my table. But that's okay. Decades ago, I would have had a spaz attack when that spider came out. And now I say thank you for eating the mosquitoes. Do you really need to be right there? Okay, well then I will just let you be. So we're going to do our opening song, which is Home. Next week we will have a live musician, but today we're going to sing a cappella, which is lovely sometimes to do that. So you'll get it really quickly. Love is calling me home. Love has opened the door. Come inside and feel the light. Love asks nothing more. The words are in your program. Just take a deep breath. And as always, we use this opening song to just become fully present, to let the day go, whatever it took to get here, regardless of what's happening later. We're just right here, right now, in this place, listening to the beautiful bird song and the song from each other. Love is calling me home. Love has opened the door. Come inside and feel the light. Love asks nothing more. Joy. Joy is calling me home. Joy has opened the door. Come inside and feel the light. Joy asks nothing more. Peace. Peace is calling me home. Peace has opened the door. Come inside and feel the light. Peace asks nothing more. Love again. Love is calling me home. Love has opened the door. Come inside and feel the light. Love asks nothing more. God. God is calling me home. God has opened the door. Come inside and feel the light. God asks nothing more. God asks nothing more. Take a breath. Let it go. God asks nothing more than presence. That's it. And God really doesn't ask anything, because God is not a person or a personification that asks things of us. It is a presence, an energy, a vibration. So when we say God asks nothing more, we mean that vibration of connection asks nothing more than we just be present, that we just show up, that we're just here. So as always, we start with our vision and our mission, and they're also in our program. I invite you to say them with me if you choose. Our vision. We are an open, safe, creative, and spiritual community where we experience divine love and connection every day. Our mission. Through spiritual, artistic, and social gatherings, we experience and express divine love. Our intentions create ripples of compassion into the world. Thank you. We have just one announcement. This Friday is game night, and that's from 7 to 9 p.m. Tomorrow night, ooh, we got a new game. Rose is a game queen and has a whole cupboard full of games, and we've got a whole cupboard full of games. So between us, there's all kinds of cool things that we can do. So we invite you. We'll probably play in the house, so come on up tomorrow night, 7 o'clock, play some games. We have a lot of fun. I invite Reverend Clancy up for our opening reading, our brief time of silence, and a nice, beautiful affirmative prayer. We'll bring us out with our lovely crystal bowl.
Ernest Holmes, who is the founder of Science of Mind and Spirit, wrote, "The starting point of all creation is the word of spirit. The word is the concept, idea, image, or thought of God. It is the self-knowing mind speaking itself into manifestation. The word back of everything is its initial cause." The word is the initial cause. And in the beauty and the uniqueness of this moment, I speak my word. I speak my word recognizing that there is the one, omnipresent, always present, omniscient, always holding the wisdom, the eternal wisdom, the omnipotent, the all-power of creation. Knowing this is the truth and it moves through all of its creation, that must mean it moves through everyone, everywhere, in and through and expressing as everything, everywhere, always, every precious moment. So I acknowledge this, and I affirm that this time together is filled with joy, with insights, with a knowing beyond our previous understanding. In this community of mind and heart and spirit, regardless of geography, I know that we are in that unity of that one. And we celebrate that because it is the divine within, surrounding, and as all. I am so grateful this is the truth. And knowing the truth, I can simply let it be. As the beauty surrounds us and reminds us of the seeds that were planted at another time, we are planting now the seeds of joy and truth and beauty and a new insight, a new awareness. It is good and very good. And so it is.
And so it is. I invite up Corey and Clancy and Larry. Our song tonight is by Karen Drucker. She's written a lot of songs in our organization, what we call conscious music, music that opens us up. And this song popped into my head last week when I was sending someone an email, and I wanted to also send my love, and they're far away. And this song just popped right in. So, oh, I need my drum too. So I'll get us started on it. Go with them here. send my love over the mountain. I send my love over the sea. I send my love into the heavens, and it returns to me. I send my love over the mountains. I send my love over the sea. I send my love into the heavens, and it returns to me. I send my joy over the mountains. I send my joy over the sea. I send my joy into the heavens, and it returns to me. I send my power over the mountains. I send my power over the sea. I send my power over the mountains, and it returns to me. I send peace over the mountains. I send peace over the sea. I send peace over the heavens, and it returns to me. I send my power over the mountains. I send my power over the sea. I send my power into the heavens, and it returns to me. I send my love over the mountains. I send my love over the sea. I send my love into the heavens, and it returns to me. And it returns to me. And it returns to me. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. I love that visual. I send my love over the mountains. I send my love over the sea. I send my love into the heavens. Not the heaven. We don't believe there is a heaven. There are the heavens, the many heavens. And one of them is right here, right now. You like that? So all month we've been talking about creativity and using words to sort of bounce off of as a topic starter. And this week we've got the word spark. Spark. I love that. I imagine a flint, you know, that little spark that creates everything. Scientists and even the Pope have said that the Big Bang is where it all began. That there was this something that impelled the creation of everything, or a no thing that created everything. So our subtitle for tonight is Spark from Nothing to Insight. And that's what we're going to focus on. And I love this word nothing, because I like to break it apart. It is no thing. It is no thing. So from this nothingness, or another way to say it would be from the everything, because that's what we believe this powerful presence is. It had a desire to know itself differently than it had for all of eternity before. And there was something that pushed it, that gave it an impulse to burst forth into what we know as universes and planets and life. We can't possibly know beyond that or before that, because there was no thing. From this no thing became everything, all at once. And the very atoms that make up those first Big Bang moments, however many billions of years ago that was, those same atoms are in us. That's kind of mind-boggling to think about. Because there's only a certain amount of energy in matter in the universe, and it just keeps kind of trading places. This is, again, a scientific theory. There's only so much, but it keeps changing in form. And so those very atoms still exist. They are within us. They are as us. That's kind of mind-boggling. Hello, little mosquito. Go away. Spider, where are you? Reincarnate.
Hey.
That was good. Catch the grasshopper. So when we start with no thing, it's just energy. It's just energy. It's this vibration and this flow that becomes something, that begins to bind together in some way to become something. We have this within us as ideas. It starts with nothing, and then suddenly something comes in. We don't know where it comes from. It just pops in. We have an idea about something. And often, those ideas come into form. They begin to gather energies from around and coalesce and turn into something. But first we start with energy, vibration, and flow. When I started to think about flow, it's an important word in my life, and I want to be in the flow of life. I want to stay, riding comfortably down the river, relaxed, not trying to swim upstream and fight the tide. I want to be in the flow, because if I'm in the flow, I'm probably not going to get bashed up against the rocks. I'm going to flow around them. That's what the water does. It may crash over them, but it still goes around the obstacles of life. If I'm fighting what's happening, I'm not in the flow, and I'm going to get beat up a little bit with the rocks, the edges of the banks, whatever's there in the way, whatever appears to be in the way. So I would just like us to maybe entertain a little quick discussion about where in the world do you see flow happening? I think it's obvious with waves, there's that in and out, that movement. There's wind that has a flow. There's breath that has a flow. Our blood has a flow. Traffic has a flow. I am so grateful that we have this amazing ability to drive these heavy machines, and that most of the time, everybody's safe. That we agree to stay within these lines, and that we have a flow. And when people are paying attention, being in the flow, well, there's plenty of space for the next car to come in and things to go in and out. Growing up in Southern California, I learned all about gridlock. And I learned that it doesn't make any difference if I'm on that person's tail. I'm not going to get there any faster. So if I just hang back, yeah, somebody's probably going to cut in front of me because there's a space. Oh no, I got to get in there. But I continue to just make enough space so there's always room for a car to flow in and out of the space in front of me. Then I don't worry that somebody's going to rear end me and I might rear into the person in front of me. I just relax when I'm in the flow of traffic. I don't get so tense and wound up. Traffic would be the one place where I would just lose my mind. I'm going to be peaceful in most of my life, and in traffic I'd want to kill somebody. And all of a sudden something shifted, a new idea came in, and I went, well, I'm not going to get there any faster by being mad. It's not going to help anything. So just relax. Use this time, because I can't go any faster than the car in front of me. Go with the flow. And I often got there a lot faster than I would have assumed I would have. Now, I don't know if I've expanded time or not. When I let go and relax about whatever's happening, suddenly time seems to expand a little bit. So where else, if you have an answer, just speak it out, where else do you notice this sense of flow in the world? What are some other places where we see flow? There's no wrong answers, by the way.
Shopping.
Shopping. Lava. Good. Where do you see flow in shopping? I want to know more about that.
Well, even if there's a big rush on for sale, there's still a natural flow of people moving in and out of the activities and going along down through the mall or the walkway or wherever it is to the next thing.
Awesome. Good visualization. Yeah, I see there's something over here.
The subway,
The subway.
bathrooms.
Bathrooms, yeah. There's usually a flow that's happening there in many ways. Subways for sure. I vividly remember going through the New York subways with Will's mom, and she had some stability issues and wasn't super fast, but we had to hustle to get onto the subway we wanted to get on. So we just kept on moving, and we just got onto the subway we needed to. Even though there were lots of people, we flowed around. We didn't fight what was happening, we flowed with it. So I love this idea of vibration coming into flow, which then comes into something else. It becomes something. The other thing that I love is this idea that nothing is ever lost, that energy and matter just keep changing, becoming something else. Matter falls apart and becomes something else. And so, if that's true, nothing is ever lost. Nothing is ever lost, because it just may be transmuted into something else. But its energy is still available. Energy turns into matter, which turns back into energy, which turns back into matter. It's just this lovely little process. And that idea led me to think, that means that every experience is recycled again and again and again. They say there are no new stories, that all the stories that happen to humanity have happened over and over and over again for millennia. I think cave people still had drama. They still had the same dramas we did about relationships and about feeling abundant. Grog, need more food. I need a mastodon. Whatever it is, that there were still the same issues. How are we going to keep our kids safe? What's going to happen? How am I going to stay alive today? Same issues have been running through our humanity forever. So when something happens to us, well, that experience gets to be recycled. It gets to be, fall apart and come back and show up in another form. How many of you have dated the same person over and over again, or had the same boss over and over and over again? Different faces, but the same person. Because we take our experience with us, and we get what we expect to see. And so, if we keep having an expectation about something, we will continue to have that same experience in many different forms. Isn't that cool? Whee! It also means when we have preferred experiences, if we keep focusing on those, we tend to have those over and over and over again. In our family, we had a belief that housing wasn't a problem. We were always going to find the place to live, the right place to live. It was just a belief my family carried. Didn't matter how much money we had or didn't have, we always knew that the right place for right now was going to be made available. Now, some people really struggle with homes. I used to have a real struggle with money in abundance. And so there was something in there where I kept getting stuck, and I kept repeating these old stories over and over again, recycling them. Everybody's got one little area that they maybe are challenged by. But it's the same principle, whether it's money or health or relationships or houses or whatever. It's the same principle. We carry the belief in. We can shift the belief, just like energy can turn into matter and back again. We can shift that to have a new experience, to invite a new experience, something different. This idea of being creative, it is our natural state. It is our natural birthright. We tend to self-select into creative people and non-creative people. There are so many people I've met that have felt they weren't creative. But it is our natural state. It is who we are. To create is who we are. I like this thought, or I don't like it, but I'm aware of this thought, that we seem to buy into the belief that something isn't creative or beautiful unless it is recognized, unless somebody else tells us it's worthy. I've had that. In many of my creative endeavors, I've wanted to show it to someone in order to feel that my creativity was valued or worthy. And now, more often, I want to be creative because I want to be creative. The things I want to create, I just want to create. And if I share them with people, great. And if I don't, that's okay too. Some things are just meant for us. You know, I've got poems that no one will ever see. But they're mine, and I love them. And I might go back and look at them and go, oh yeah, that. But I may not share that with anybody else. And it still is beautiful and valuable because, and only because, it was created. Was it the best poem in the world? Who cares? I said that a lot last week. Who cares? Who cares if it's the best one? Who cares if anybody else likes it? If you create it, it is yours to do. Whatever it is. Today, it was snipping plants. My husband had a rhododendron society meeting here, and they got to go wander our beautiful garden and do cuttings and just, pruning demonstrations. That's very creative. I vividly remember when my husband and I were first dating, he was in real estate lending. And we met, and I was drama teaching at the time. And when we first started dating, I was drama teaching and doing a lot of things with kids in theater. And he said, oh, you get to be so creative. I'm so envious of that. I just do this lending thing. And I said, okay, wait a minute. You go in and you help people to figure out their finances and to look at, with a critical eye, how can we buy our first house? You know about percentages and interest rates and mortgage plans and all this stuff. I don't know any of that. To me, that's art. That's magic. That's creative. Because these people come to you with their little bank book in hand and they say, help us buy a house. And it may look on the surface like this is impossible. But you work with them and you figure out a creative way for them to get what they want. That's amazing to me. That's magic. There are a lot of people that don't feel creative. If we can step back from our limited view of what we see them doing, oh, that guy just sweeps the floor. What's creative about that? What could be creative about sweeping a floor? What could be creative about that? Well, maybe you sweep in patterns. Maybe he's got a particular way that he sweeps the floor that nobody else has invented. That's the most amazing floor sweeping technique ever. But no one will ever know that. Because he's laboring away in the middle of the night in some doctor's office, sweeping the floor.
Or writing a song.
Or writing a song. I'm sweeping the floor today, I'm sweeping the floor. Who knows? Everything is creative when we see it that way, when we choose to view it that way. This idea of from nothing to insight, again, I like to take apart the word. Insight. Looking within. Seeing within. Instead of looking without for validation, go within. This is where it lives. Be open to the experience you're having. Not the one you want to have, but the one you're actually having. Be open to that experience, and then anything can become creative. If you bring enough awareness and love into it. And I do mean anything. Anything. The hardest thing you've ever had to do probably forced you to be extremely creative. And all the books we read about personal growth, every person who's written one of those books has a traumatic story that they start off with. Here's where my life went to heck in a handbasket. And here's where I bounced out of that experience. I hit rock bottom and I bounced out of that experience somehow. And they always go into detail about how their path, particular way, got them there. It forces us to get really creative about our life. Oh, well, everything's falling apart. Well, now what am I going to do? And again, it forces us out of our habits, out of our old ways of seeing, if we can bring awareness and love to the situation. If we bring our old ideas, our old belief, our old baggage, it's never going to work, my life is always going to suck, it's going to be terrible, well, then you get to be right. And I hate that, but that's just kind of the way it tends to be. I've been there. I've been in that dark place. It's never going to work. It's hopeless. I can't do anything. I'm totally stuck. And then something will come along and kick me in the butt. Sometimes we need a good kick in the butt to move forward, to just move us out of the stuck place we've been. And sometimes it's a traumatic feeling when that happens. If we can recognize everything as being part of this flow, maybe it will feel less traumatic. We say, but it doesn't feel good. I don't like the way this feels. I don't like it. Well, so what? That's what's happening. That's what's happening right now. Feelings are usually pointers to a belief in some outer condition. They're pointers. If I'm having a feeling or a reaction about something, it is a pointer to some idea I'm carrying around. I don't have enough. It's not going to be right. I'm not valuable. I'm not worthy. They statements. I've done a process that eventually we will do here because it's incredibly powerful. It's called the presence process. And the line that I vividly remember from the presence process is, this isn't about learning how to feel better. It's learning how to better feel. For me, maybe for you, I did not like feeling the feelings that don't feel good. I don't want to feel that. And so I would do everything in my power to not feel that. Creatively. Lots of creative ways to not feel what we happen to be feeling at every given time. Food, sex, drugs, alcohol, shopping, TV, Facebook, you name it. Busyness, crafts, things, and good works. Oh, those are great things to keep our mind off of our own stuff. Let's focus on everybody else. Let's do lots of good works out there in the world. That can be an avoidance of our own inner life, of the insight that might be good for us to play with, to dive into. This is a reoccurring theme that I talk about a lot. If we can feel everything, then it will be part of the flow and it will move through us. If we are not, it gets trapped in us. I used to always go like, this is where I would push my stuff, right around in here. Push it down, push it down, push it down. Right in this place. And I don't know why it was that spot. For somebody else it might be over here, my left arm, who knows. But that would be the place where I would talk about. When I pushed down my feelings, that's where they would go. And then I got creative because I wanted to play with these feelings in a different way. So in a visualization, in a process with a wonderful spiritual counselor, spiritual coach, I started to visualize, well, what does that look like? What is all that stored pain, those stored feelings I don't want to feel, what does that look like? And I got a picture in my head of a spiky gray ball, like a mace. Those old-fashioned things on the end of a stick with a chain, and you could bash people on the head back in the days of old. It was a mace. It was a spiky gray ball. And that's how I feel when those feelings are coming up in me. I feel spiky. I just want to poke out at the world when I feel that way. So I gave it a name, Spiky Gray. And then I would start to have conversations with Spiky Gray. Like, talk to me. Tell me what's going on. Why are you so mad? Or what's going on with you? So I'd go into my little peaceful place. I created a space, very much like this room, actually, in my brain. A place where I could go and have little conversations with Spiky Gray. And pretty soon, instead of Spiky Gray getting so mad because it was constantly being pushed away and shoved down, Spiky Gray was mad because it had been squished down into this tiny little spot. And it just wanted to be heard. So it's like, okay, well, we'll let you come out then. I'm not going to keep you in this tiny little spot. Come out, talk to me, tell me what's going on. And pretty soon Spiky Gray and I became kind of pals, you know. What's going on, Spiky Gray? Oh, you look really upset right now. Tell me about that. And then there came a moment when Spiky Gray lost its spikes and became this beautiful, shiny silver ball. Still, in my mind, Spiky Gray, but it's also, at the same time, this beautiful silver ball. I don't know that I've even named the beautiful silver ball. Because somewhere in there, it's still Spiky Gray. But we're pals now, instead of enemies. Spiky Gray would show up in very inappropriate ways when it needed to be heard, when there was something I wasn't allowing myself to feel. It would show up as a temper tantrum, or a hissy fit, or yelling at somebody that I loved for no apparent reason. It usually was when there was nothing really specifically wrong. I can handle big dramatic events, but the day-to-day stuff would just beat on me, and then Spiky Gray would have a fit. Does anybody have a Spiky Gray? Do you have a thing that sits in you, and then something happens, you spill the milk, something gets knocked over, and you just want to lose your flippin' mind? Yeah, and that's okay. We're so conditioned. You know, and I don't want to blame society or life or any of that, but we are very conditioned that these feelings are acceptable and these feelings are not. These feelings are socially okay and these feelings are not. Now, I'm not advocating we go out and just express our feelings all over everybody all the time. And to have a place where you can have a conversation with that part of you that you don't like feeling. To have a spiritual coach, or a support group, or somewhere, a good friend who's not going to just buy into your upset and drama, but is just going to listen and hold you accountable so that you can talk about this part of ourselves that needs to be heard so that we can unleash creativity that feels more beneficial for our lives and ourselves, instead of the creativity the way we often use it, to create drama and upset and problems. It's the same creativity that creates all the stinky stuff and all the beautiful stuff. The same exact process of energy becoming something, matter, and then dissolving again. The same energy, the same process. So we get to ask ourselves, what do we want to do with all this? What do we want to create with all of this? My acronym for SPARK this week, because I like doing acronyms, SPARK is speak passionately and really know. That's what we do in affirmative prayer. We speak passionately and we really know at the core of our being the truth of which we are speaking. We are speaking the word. Biblically, the word is very powerful. You know, from the word came all things. That's Genesis. And there was the word, and the word was made law. The word was with God, and the word was God. So when we speak our words, we are creating. We are being powerfully creative. In Hebrews 4:12 it says, "The word of God is alive and active, sharper than any double-edged sword. It cuts all the way through to where soul and spirit meet, to where joints and marrow come together. It judges the desires and thoughts of the heart." Now when I read that and I hear judges, I don't think it means that it's judgmental of the desires of the heart. But it, you know, what are you putting out there? What is your word? And then it says yes. That's how it judges. The law, the word, always says yes. So how do we use our words? What do we choose to create with them? I've spoken passionately in my life about lack, limitation, not enough, and that was what manifested a lot in my life. I've also had a lot of joy and a lot of blessings in my life, because I also was raised that what you put out comes back. Far before we ever discovered this philosophy, what you put out comes back. So what do you want to put out? It's this law. Speak and it shall be done. As you believe, so it shall be done. The words have been here for millennia. The philosophy has been around since ancient days. It is a common thread that runs through all philosophies, and there's no mistake about that. It's because it's a big T, capital T truth. Our word is law. So how do we choose to use it? I invite you to take a breath. Speak passionately and really know. Spark the thing that feeds your soul. Spark, be the flint, be the spark that creates the blazing fire of a life that feels. It doesn't have to feel good, but a life where we better feel. I think that's powerful. We have an affirmation in our program. I invite us to say this together. I tap into the divine spark and feel the flow of playful creation move through all my experiences. Play with life. Play with these words. Play with it. Do an experiment. This is our time for conscious giving. I'm really grateful for the presence of each of us and the way that we contribute and are part of the flow of the life of this center and the bigger life out in the community and out in the world. I know each person here is a huge blessing to the circle that you are part of. And each circle begins to bump into each other. And then you create this amazing ripple, as we talk about in our mission. We are ripples of compassion in the world. So I really appreciate the way we are consciously part of this flow through our giving and receiving of good in the many forms that looks like. If you are choosing to give a tangible gift today, I also have envelopes, so if you're giving in cash, just put your name on here, and that way we can track it for your tax purposes. You don't have to do all the address and stuff, because I think most of you I have your addresses for. But if you're giving a tangible gift, I invite you to place it on your heart. If you're giving an intangible gift, do that too. Just take a deep breath. And we're going to send our love over the mountain as we pass our basket. I send my love over the mountain. I send my love over the sea. I send my love into the heavens, and it returns to me. Thank you. So we bless these gifts, knowing that they go forth into doing good work here in the Center for Spiritual Living in Port Angeles and out in the greater world. And I'm so grateful for all of this. I invite us to say our conscious giving affirmation together. I am open to give. I am open to receive. I am grateful to be in the flow of life through and as me. So it is. So our closing song, each and every day. Again, the words are in the program. Make sure I say them right. Each and every day, I know I'm gonna share some light. Stand up. Each and every day, I know I'm gonna share some light. Move your feet. Each and every day, I know I'm gonna share some light. Hallelujah, hallelujah. Each and every day, spread some joy. Each and every day, I know I'm gonna spread some joy. Each and every day, I know I'm gonna spread some joy. Each and every day, I know I'm gonna spread some joy. Hallelujah, hallelujah. Feel some peace.
every day I know I'm gonna feel some peace. Each and every day I know I'm gonna feel some peace. Each and every day I know I'm gonna feel some peace. Hallelujah, hallelujah.
No, I'm blessed.
Each and every day I know I'm gonna know I'm blessed. Each and every day I know I'm gonna know I'm blessed. Each and every day I know I'm gonna know I'm blessed. Hallelujah, hallelujah,
Hallelujah again.
hallelujah, hallelujah.
One more time.
Hallelujah, hallelujah.
Yes! Very nice. You're lovely. Thank you for standing up even though you didn't want to. Again, we got tea and snacks in the back of the room. I'm very grateful for the presence of each one of you, and I look forward to seeing you next week. Bye.